Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. An executive at a hedge fund over in the UK has stated that a settlement between the SEC and Ripple could cause the price of XRP to absolutely skyrocket. Now, you won't find any fight against me on that point. I think that's quite reasonable to speculate on. But look, XRP continues to be in danger of being knocked out of the top 10 cryptos by market cap for the first time in history. It's never been outside of the top 10. Yet adoption and utility of XRP is only increasing, which of course, further proves the point that crypto prices have little to do with their actual value. And of course, the whole market does indeed move in tandem. But you can see that at the time I'm recording this, XRP is number 8 in market cap. And Cardano's right below it. It wouldn't take much for Cardano to increase in price and then take that number 8 spot, and then XRP would be in the number 9 position, which has never happened in history. XRP has never been this low before. It's never been at number 9. So look, I'm not predicting that XRP is going to get bumped out of the top 10. I'm just warning you that it could happen and it would be completely unfair. Be a couple of reasons. Like I cited this in a recent video, so I'll just be brief here, but there are two stable coins in the top 10, which doesn't make any damn sense. They're always worth $1. People don't go to these sites to look at the price of stable coins, which doesn't change. So that makes the top 10 more like a top 8 effectively, because they're taking up 2 spots that they really frankly shouldn't be, not by default anyway. And then on top of that, of course, the SEC is going after Ripple, which has obviously suppressed the price of XRP. I think we'd probably pretty well all agree on that. So take a look at this headline from Finance Feeds on this point, because XRP did move just in the last couple days or so from the number 6 position market cap down to number 8. And it's not because the price of XRP was tanking. It's just been mostly trading sideways. It's that 2 cryptos, they just skyrocketed upwards, which is why I'm saying it won't take much for, a handful of cryptos to start really going. And then bam, XRP undeservedly getting knocked out of the top 10. That could happen. Even if so, that's not a doomsday scenario. That would be a short-term thing. And we could look back historically and be like, wow, look at what the SEC case did, because I think we're going to be happy in the end. I mean, when you're talking about either full adjudication or perhaps more likely settlement between the SEC versus Ripple, XRP is going to be in the clear. Because look, if there's settlement, that means that it's in the clear. Ripple executives have made it very clear that if there isn't a path forward for XRP to be utilized by Ripple specifically via on-demand liquidity, then there is no settlement to be had. So if that happens, when we wake up with the news that Ripple settled, we're good. XRP is golden at that point. And I do anticipate that there would be a rush of money into it. So I'm thankful that I've got my exposure before all that happens. But here's the headline from Finance Feeds. Will Ripple lawsuit make up for XRP loss against Cardano and Solana? But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I'm not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And so this article, this is new. This is from literally yesterday. But you know what I think I'm going to do now that I'm sitting here looking at this? I'm actually going to cover this article first. This is from March 19th, and the reason I want to highlight this, I mean, it's the same subject matter, but in both articles, there's an executive named Natalia Zakharova, who is the head of business development at FX Open, and she has some strong opinions, which I think are hitting the nail on the head and would bode well for our pockets, moving forward here. But this article from March 19th, also from Finance Feed, is titled, Ripple Settlement May Trigger XRP Price to Skyrocket, says FX Open Executive. And I hadn't heard of FX Open, but this is their website here. Basically, they're just a hedge fund. They offer cryptocurrency, but not just crypto. They offer exchange-traded funds, commodities, so on and so forth. So kind of an idea for who they are. And they're regulated by the UK's Financial Conduct Authority, which, by the way, also has publicly stated, the FCA has stated that XRP is a utility token, meaning, of course, that it is not a security. So that's the same organization. But anyway, in we go. Here's a quote from Natalia Zakharova. Whilst it is not yet conclusive, there is definitely a sway of opinion towards the litigation against Ripple to be settled in its favor. And many leading academics from major universities have already publicly stated opinions that the lawsuit is baseless and that Ripple will either win or it will be settled in Ripple's favor outside of the courtroom, end quote. and that's something that's undeniably true. Like I look for the bad news and the surrounding Ripple and XRP on all topics, including analysis from academics and attorneys that say, yeah, this is not looking so good for Ripple. And when I find it, I cover it. I do cover it because I want all the perspectives postulated by people to be put out there so we can all just analyze and come up with our own conclusions about what we think is likely. But what I'm telling you is there's not much on the negative side. When you're talking about analysis from academics and attorneys, it's very difficult to find opinions that state that Ripple's in the wrong and this is going to go well for the SEC. It's very difficult to find those people. So if, playing the odds here, it does seem like if the majority's right, and in this case, I anticipate that's the case, this is going to go well for Ripple, which means it's going to go well for us as XRP holders. And the piece continues. As to the price of XRP, Ms. Zakharova said, quote, there is most definitely a possibility of its value accelerating dramatically, end quote, as Ripple kept building its scope and network across the globe, thus making XRP at the center of a larger economy. The digital asset not only reduces transaction fees, but it is also placed as a default digital settlement currency, which can act as a mediator between all other digital transactions. Yeah, so I'll just pause. Something's going to have to do this. Like we need something to be the glue of of blockchain technology. We really do, because blockchains are not going to natively interact with each other, so you can't convert from one to the other without some sort of in-between, unless you're talking about pairs specifically being open on exchanges, but you're not going to have a pair for every single asset that exists on the planet. So you're going to need something to be the glue to stitch this all together. And XRP is jurisdictionless. There's no counterparty risk. It just is what it is. Something's got to fill that role. And XRP is the cryptocurrency that's best suited for this. It's the best crypto on the planet for payments. And it's the only one that's being positioned as a bridge currency. So either that's useful or it's not. I say it is. I think that the world is adopting it at whatever pace it is happening. And I think that eventually it's going to be reflected in terms of XRP's price. But that's more so in a mature market. For now, it's just wild speculation. But eventually, as long as it continues to be adopted and useful, yeah, you're going to go more in that direction. Anyway, and then this article wraps up by stating the FX Open executive concluded that besides Ripple's successful play in court and the expanding network for XRP, current events could also positively affect the price of XRP, as inflation, stagnation, and economic war may trigger a surge in demand for crypto, with XRP as a natural favorite. Well, ain't that true? Which is why I'd say, even though XRP is potentially in danger of getting knocked out of the top 10, I personally don't think it's something to be scared about. It's worth talking about so people aren't caught off guard if it happens. But I think it would be short-lived. And then once this thing settles, it's like, who's going to care anyway? It's going to be worth so much more. It's not going to be a problem. That will have, if XRP did ever get knocked out of the top 10, that is not an indication, especially while it's artificially suppressed in terms of price action, not an indication that it's not going to be worth substantially more in the future. Again, the price of XRP isn't connected to utility today, not so, like barely at all, frankly, and it's suppressed. So put those two together, it's like, what do you think is going to happen? So now into this piece that was published just yesterday from Finance Feeds titled, Will Ripple Lawsuit Make Up for XRP Loss Against Cardano and Solana? The stalled digital asset has been surpassed by Solana and Cardano in market cap, but the XRP lawsuit will soon come to an end. Let me pause to note that at the time I'm recording this, it's been surpassed by Luna and Solana, with Cardano right behind XRP by a few billion in market cap. So it wouldn't take much for Cardano to overcome XRP right now. So again, not predicting that's going to happen, not trying to spread fear or anything like that. It's quite the opposite. I'm saying, like, even if this happens, I'm just going to be like, okay, whatever. It's not going to actually functionally matter. Anyway, into the piece though. The cryptocurrency space is still in its infancy, and many of the 18,000 plus cryptos being traded on nearly 500 exchanges are not expected to survive in the long run, the same way many internet startups failed in the aftermath of the dot-com bubble. Now, that's why it is so critical for digital assets to stay in the top 100 list, which could be considered the big league. The top 10 cryptos, however, may be the ones that lay out the rules for the rest of the industry, somewhat like FANG. So we're talking about FANG stocks there, which you may be aware stands for Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google, FAANG. Ripple, I'm sorry, actually they mean XRP, they wrote Ripple here. XRP was in the big leagues right from the start, and for many years, it was the number 2 crypto by market cap, only behind Bitcoin. The rise of Ethereum to number 2 could be attributed to Hinman's 2018 speech. And now the SEC versus Ripple case might have stalled XRP in such a way that the digital asset is just waiting for good news from the court. Yeah. Pause to just note, yes. I don't know. Like, I don't know to what degree it's going to rocket. I'm not saying that it's necessarily going to hit its previous all-time high, a little shy of $4, in a matter of days or a couple weeks if this happens. But I'm also not even ruling that out. Crypto markets are freaking nuts. And I'm here for that bonkersness of all this. That's what makes this fun, frankly. But even if it does, there'll still be a retracement back to the downside. And hopefully wherever it settles, though, after that, it's going to be a higher normal than where we see today. To me, it's just mind-blowing that XRP is actually trading below $1 right now. That's ridiculous. I don't think that's going to persist. I really don't. Piece continues, though. The recent upward moves in the crypto space saw Solana and Cardano taking XRP's place in the ranking by market capitalization. XRP holders now look to the XRP lawsuit in search of news that triggers a newfound galvanization in both markets and industry adoption of the digital asset. The quicker the better, they believe, but the SEC is playing the delay game to its advantage. We spoke with Natalia Zakharova, head of business development at FX Open, about the case and if the SEC will drag it further to limit Ripple's place at the negotiating table. And here's a quote from Natalia Zakharova. The SEC has a worldwide reputation to uphold, yet has been left behind to some extent by the new economy, which is somewhat global and totally digital. Although the SEC has been one of the first regulators to understand digital assets and blockchain-based technology, all it did was list them as an asset class, whilst continuing to concentrate on the traditional derivatives exchange and securities, end quote. And she also added that the complexity of blockchain has made it difficult for regulators to operate. Yeah, exactly. Which is why you shouldn't be using the Howey case from 1946 and this assume that crypto is going to neatly fit in, that you need to account for the change in centralization versus decentralization of each cryptocurrency, because that changes whether or not there is a common enterprise surrounding a crypto asset, which is one of the 4 prongs of the Howey test. And you don't have criteria which explains what is sufficiently decentralized. Until you do that, everybody in the space is just screwed. They have to scratch their heads and be like, I don't know, are we doing okay now? Is this sufficiently decentralized? Are we still technically a common enterprise in the eyes of the SEC? And there's no freaking way to know, which is troublesome. So, look, I still think the best days are yet ahead. Eventually, this thing's just going to rock. And I am optimistic that there's going to be settlement, especially if we do see the judge affirm her previous ruling that the 63 emails having to do with the Billy Boy Hinman Ethereum free pass speech, which took place, of course, June of 2018. Assuming those do end up in the hands of Ripple, or at least they're ordered again to be delivered to Ripple and play a role in this case, you're going to see settlement, folks. Even Attorney John Deaton has stated that he's speculating, but he's very optimistic. He said inside of 90 days of that ruling, first of all, you're not going to see the SEC hand over the notes ever. You're going to see settlement instead inside of 90 days. So that's going to be coming down the pike sooner than later. I don't know if it might be this month. Maybe it'll be May. I'm not sure when that the judge is going to make that ruling. But assuming it goes in favor, which is what is expected by lawyers that I follow in the space, like, clock's ticking, folks. So we're going to find out sooner than later, in all likelihood this year, and perhaps sooner than later. I cannot wait for that. One day I'm expecting to wake up and see news of settlement, and right then I will know in that moment, having not read the specifics, that everything's okay, because I know there won't be settlement if XRP, if it can't be traded in the United States, if there's not a clear path forward, and if XRP can't be used as a bridge currency by Ripple. Like, I will already know that before reading the specifics. So it's going to be exciting. We've had to go through a lot for years on end now, but I'm one of the individuals out there, and if you're listening to this video, you very well may feel the same. The best is yet to come, and it's absolutely going to be worth it, and there still is life-changing wealth to be made in crypto, and specifically in XRP. Almost no humans on the planet hold XRP. If we're right about this can absolutely be truly life-changing. That's not hyperbole. There's a reason that I track this every day, and I am that excited. But I'll wrap up here. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.